What's up everybody, how are you doing? So I've had countless questions asked over the past couple weeks, both my DMs and on a Q&A on my Instagram. So if you aren't following me on Instagram, be sure to follow me if you ever want to enter into a Q&A and stay super up to date. But yeah, let's get into this Q&A. It's gonna be the biggest Q&A the world has ever seen. Actually, I don't know, it's just gonna be a Q&A. But let's get into this.
I think that I'm finally in.
Before we officially get into this, I just want to propose the idea of a meet and greet / live podcast with Bashir. I think it'd be super fun, and I think it'd be awesome to meet you guys in person outside of just track meets and stuff like that. I just don't know what city I would have it in, or where, or when, or any of the details. So comment down below where you think it should be / what city is close to you, so I can get an idea of where people live and where would be the best to have this. I think it'd be super fun, but yeah, let's get into the questions. Best ways to recover. So in my opinion, the best ways to recover are to get good sleep and eat really good foods and just treat your body well. How was my first year of college? So my first year of college went really well. I guess like with the school part, not 100% great, but with running it went really well, and I was really happy with how my seasons went and how I kind of like progressed throughout the year and developed into the runner that I am today. I definitely found a niche on YouTube and have kind of built an audience, which is really cool. Like, thank you so much for allowing me to have this opportunity to make videos and have fun this summer and just enjoy myself. It's really cool kind of what I developed throughout the year, even though it was a really tough year and I was grinding a lot of the time because the balance between school, YouTube, and running was just really hard to mix. But in the end, it was good. It was a very productive year and I'm overall really happy with it. Favorite books about running. So I don't like Born to Run. That's one book I don't like at all. It's I don't know, I'll probably have to make an entire video on this. But one book I really do like is Running with the Buffaloes, and it's probably one of my favorite running books just because it's just such a compelling story and it just makes you want to get out there and run. And it's basically the season of the Colorado Buffaloes, and it was just really exciting. There was a lot of things that happened, some sad stuff that happened. It was an emotional journey. Another book that I really do like that I'm actually starting is Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. It's not necessarily a running book, but it's kind of like a book about running culture and Nike and business. And I kind of like the infusion of business and running because I'm really interested in business as well as running, and so it's just kind of the perfect book for me. And then another book that I really liked was Scott Jurick's Eat and Run. It wasn't like written as if it was from a writer, but it was written in a way that's super easy to digest, and I think there were some really good stories in there about his life and his experience. Scott Jurick's an amazing runner, and he did some crazy stuff like running the Appalachian Trail speed record. He had it for a while, but yeah, I just thought that book was really cool. That's about it. What do I eat in a day as a D1 runner at home? So at home it's obviously different than cafeteria food at school. And for me at home, I just basically eat pretty raw stuff. I eat like fruits and vegetables that are just pretty raw, some pastas, some risotto, like very simple stuff. Sometimes I'll go out and get Chipotle or mezza or some Thai food, something like that. But for me, it's mostly just really raw things that are not super complicated. Just easy to make, healthy to consume, I guess. That's a good way to put it. What were the hardest adjustments going from high school track and field to college track and field? And for me, I think the hardest adjustments were just kind of managing my time. It was a lot of time spent at practice at different random times throughout the day. Like in high school, it's really consistent. It's at the end of the day or at the end of the school day for me. And in college, it was kind of either in the morning or in the afternoon, and you had to double on your own time, and it was just like a lot to manage. And I spent a lot of time running and just doing things around running, and a lot of wasted time where I just like had to commute and get food and stuff like that. But I think managing the timing of everything was a little bit more difficult than high school. But I have to say that my high school coach, Spicer, did super well prepare me for the workouts and stuff like that. I don't think I've done workouts harder than the ones that Spicer gave us. I mean, obviously my college workouts were longer and more intense, and everything about college running is more intense. They weren't harder though, like they were just more. What's your favorite color? OMG, hee hee. That's from Shoto, who's my sister's boyfriend, so I mean, he's kind of just like goofing me a little bit. But my favorite color is blue. I said it on the podcast last week, so if you watch the podcast or listen to the podcast, you would know blue. What was my 8th grade 1500? So I didn't run the 1500 in 8th grade because in Virginia, or mostly throughout the US, it doesn't really get run that often. Mostly it's the mile and the 1600. And so my 1600 in 8th grade was, I think it was like a 5:05 maybe, something like that. So not too bad. What was the best moment in your running career? This is a really good question because I've had a lot of moments that were really big for me. But honestly, like, I think probably winning states in high school, my cross country states. I did a commentary video with Bashir and we were commentating the race a bit, and it was probably just one of the biggest moments of my life because it was the culmination of so many things, and it was such a surprise because I definitely wasn't the favorite to win. So it was really interesting for me, and I think it was just a really, really emotional experience, and I was just really stoked on it. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that's ever happened in my running career, my most memorable moment. What got you into making videos? So for me, I think the thing that most got me into making videos was the iPod Touch 4th generation. It was just like a thing. Like when I got it, I was like, oh my gosh, it can shoot video, it can download apps, it can do all this stuff. And it was like really cool and new, and I just wanted to try and make videos with it. And that's kind of what got me into making videos. Pegasus 35 or Structure 22. These are completely different shoes. You would buy the Structures if you need the support, if you need the pronation control, but if not, then you go for the Pegasus. So you don't, it's not really like which one, it's like dependent on who you are and what you need. Do you remember / still have your first pair of training shoes? So I actually kept my first pair of training shoes because I knew as a sentimental guy, I would one day want to be able to run them, be able to see them, be able to, you know, so let me get those real quick. I'll show you them just for the sake of this video, but they're really old Brooks Ghost. Those, the Brooks Ghost, maybe six. Yeah, so they're really old, they're really good. I really love them. They were really important shoes for my running career, and I really like Brooks and the Ghost line, especially when I was like a novice runner. But now that I've run more, you know, they're a little too heavy and slow for me. Longest run you've done. So like a lot of people ask me if I'm gonna do a marathon or when I'm gonna do a marathon or how fast I can run a marathon. And it's not like a matter of like, can I do a marathon? Because my longest run was just a training run and I ran 20 miles. Like it wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm gonna run my longest run. I just went for a run and I happened to run 20 miles and I was like, wow, that's cool, that was my longest run. And so like, you know, people always ask me about the marathon. I could race a marathon if I wanted to, but I don't because there's just no point right now. Like in my life, like I don't need to run a marathon. It's not to prove anything. Like there's nothing I would get from running a marathon. And I want to actually specifically train for the marathon when I race one. So, you know, that's just something on my mind. Will you be coming to England anytime soon? I don't have the plans to. I'm not planning to. I don't have a way, means, money to get there right now. But maybe someday it'd be interesting to go over to England. I would love to experience the culture there. It seems really cool, but no plans on the radar yet. Have you ever done a triathlon? So I actually have done a triathlon. It was a sprint triathlon and I did pretty well actually. See, the thing about the triathlon for me is that I'm actually a really good swimmer. Like I learned in elementary school, actually in preschool we learned, and then I joined swim team at the youngest possible age, and then I've been swimming ever since, and I've always been a good swimmer. And then running, obviously, like, you know, I do it all the time. And then biking, I got into when I was injured in 8th grade, and so I actually have a really nice road bike and do a lot of road biking. So I kind of have all three elements, and I don't dislike any of them. And so, you know, I thought it would be good for me, and I tried one. I really did love it, but, you know, it's more important for me now to focus on just running because I can definitely get much better with just running than I could by stretching and trying to do running and triathlon. And you know, it's just more important to focus on the one thing to maybe excel in that, at least for me at the moment. How to go from 2 miles to 10 miles. Run 8 more miles. Other than increasing mileage, what is the best way to improve at XC as a miler? So, I mean, obviously you should just try to increase the mileage, but other than that, it would be just increasing intensity, trying to hit the miles with a little bit more meaning. But I'd say just increasing your mileage is a really big factor in being better during cross country. How can you stay comfortable at such a fast pace even if it's during a race? So how you get comfortable at a pace is you run it more often and you practice to it, you know, like getting accustomed to a pace is just a matter of adaptation. So the more you're training at that pace, doing workouts at that pace that you want to be running at, the more comfortable you will become at that pace. Obviously, you don't want to just do workouts at the pace. You can do stuff above that pace range and below that pace range, but the more time you spend in that range, the better you're gonna feel at that pace. Breakfast for pre-race. So if you know me well, my breakfast always, like pretty much 99% of the time, is a peanut butter bagel and coffee. I drink that and eat that before race day always. That's like my thing. How tall are you and how much you do weigh? A couple of questions that have appeared multiple times. I weigh about 140 right now, but I generally weigh around like 135 and I'm about 5'10". I'm gonna end on a kind of funny question. Do you do any actual schoolwork besides running and YouTube? LOL. So, as funny as it is, so I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you are new here, be sure to subscribe. I will see you guys later. Live happy, be healthy. Bye.